They get rid of the Mars, one of the best offlane initiation heroes right now. And I mean, there's a couple of rest that can really fit the slot, but then, taking a look at Motivate as well, they've got this little bit of flexibility with the overall last pick, which is going to feel so nice. You can give the Viper to the mid lane, the Tiny
10
can go
seconds
mid,
remaining.
you can put the Tiny as a 4, the Viper as a 3, so this last pick
5
for Motivate
seconds
is
remaining.
really, really open heading into the last phase of the picks here.
Hmm. The thing is with Viper, it just really
Radiant
does not
team
feel
ban.
like. I mean, these names are a little bit off, but
Dire team
Fearless
pick.
is the mid lane for Motivate, and it just doesn't feel like a Fearless hero Viper. He's much more about this like space creation, move around the map. Ember Spirit and Void Spirit, those are his style of heroes. Maybe the Storm is still a possibility just to be able to get in onto those backlines, disrupt the Drow, get on top of the Snapfire, make sure that
10
she can't
seconds
do everything
remaining.
that she wants either. But yeah, they're kind of scraping the
5
bottom of the
seconds
barrel here a little
remaining.
bit, and then of course they've always just got the mid invoker potentially for T1 to come through that can put a lot of take a lot of pressure off the Drow.
Yeah, you brought up that some of the special heroes here for Fearless in particular with the Void and the Emperor, but actually for T1 we're gonna see them pick up the Night Stalker, which is a hero that's been getting a little bit more limelight. I think everyone's starting to come back to recognition of how strong Vision actually is, and with that nighttime advantage, and it doesn't really give you the
10 seconds remaining.
easiest way to initiate like a Blink Mars, Blink Slider for an example,
5
but this Night
seconds
Stalker
remaining.
is going to cause a lot of chaos in that first 5-minute timing. They really need to pressure the lane.
And even just small things like being able to drop the Tombstone when the Night Stalker ulti goes out at the same time. You can oftentimes just have a hard time finding it, and trying to deal with it. So that's going to swing things heavily in T1's favor. I think, yeah, this is going to be heavily on the Night Stalker, though, for T1. If he's able to get a decent time in lane and then progress that, be that tanky frontliner, probably going to see an early-ish BKB coming out from him and just be like, hey, pay attention to me, don't worry about the Drow, and our Motivate going to be able to rally around that and make sure that they're not falling into the T1 trap.
My only issue with the Night Stalker is that your laning stage first 5 minutes is pretty weak, and that's when
Choose your
Morphling can
hero.
really get pressured out. But we're going to see this Conquer get picked up, so nice little tempo hero, gives you a lot of control through the fights, and they're very hard to bring down on Motivate as well, now especially with that run buff.
Yeah, I don't know. Conker just feels a little too passive for me. It is going to be the 3 Viper, by the way. Never mind playing it for one of his first games for this new roster. So Cuckoo, doing classic captain things. He's like drafting around himself, giving himself the last pick on his team. And, well, he's clearly confident about how it's going to go for him. But time will tell. I'm just a little bit worried that Motivator having to kind of go a little bit too far away from their
10
normal
seconds remaining.
style to not to appease Savage, but to make sure that he's as
5
comfortable as
seconds
possible. So
remaining.
I feel like there's more comfort coming through from T1 right now in my mind.
Whoa, we got Avenger mid.
Yeah,
I
also possible.
I was not expecting that. I thought more than likely, well, again, the Venge 4 we kind of brought up is a bit interesting. At least they get the Snapfire Night Stalker lane, but have you seen a Venge mid be played recently? I don't think I have.
Probably like Thompson is one of the most recent ones that I've seen be done. It has varying levels of success. I guess it's just wanting a really strong laner together with this Night Stalker and Zephyr to make sure that he is going to be able to fulfill that role of just if you can get a couple of kills even in the laning stage, which is very possible with a Snapfire, it's going to be very, very hard. But against an Enchantress, probably shouldn't happen, and unless Savage is really out of position, shouldn't happen to him as well. So I'm keen to see how this is going to shape up.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I wonder how the Venge is going to be able to lane as well versus the Conker. I mean, pretty low attack range, so you're going to eat a lot of damage against that Tidebringer. There's not much you can do to kind of out-harass him and set your dominance in the lane. But like you said, they really want to put a lot more emphasis on, it seems, on being able to kind of secure that lane with the, with the Snapfire and with this Night Stalker as well.
it's kind of a little awkward as well, right? Because the Undying doesn't want to rotate into mid to make sure that that's going to be an easier lane for the Vengeful Spirit. The Snapfire can and can make a good amount of stuff done, but then that's just leaving your Night Stalker on his own. And like we've been mentioning, he needs to be really strong. He needs to have a good amount of farm and have his early game secured if Tier 1 are going to be able to progress into that mid game.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of the tempo and the pacing that Cuckoo's going to be able to have with the Snapfire in the lane. But with the draft being set here, is there a draft you're favoring, at least for this game 1 opener between Motivate and T1?
It's pretty damn even, to be honest. I have faith that Cuckoo's going to be able to have a pretty good time in this offlane, and I feel like the majority of the T1 roster have played together before, and with these 2 new players on Motivate, they've been losing to a couple of teams that, even a couple of 3 weeks ago, let's say, wouldn't have come close to even attempting to beat them. So I'm going to say T1 for this first game.
And yeah, I definitely will see how they're going to be able to fare with this new roster. I mean, the synergy that T1 have, but Motivate, playing with Savage, but then having Nevermind come through on the position 3. So it'll be interesting to see how much synergy they already have with these new players, and even how many scrims they've been able to play together as well. But you do have to keep in mind, I mean, Motivate, they were the last season's champions, the BTS Pro Series Season 3, so we'll see if they can try and defend their title with a bit of a newer roster. But in regards to that, I mean, they've got the lineup set where you've got Savage on one of his best heroes. I mean, everyone has always been kind of in awe about this Morphling. The one thing is that, is it going to take a little bit too long for Savage to kind of come online? Like, it seems like they kind of only really have Q right now to be able to blow up the Drow Ranger. And, once Savage gets an E-Bleed, you're going to be able to do so. But is the timing of T1 where this Drow can really start to group up and take objectives early going to be too much for Motivate to deal with?
I think so. I think that's what's kind of leaning in a bit more into their favor for me. I'm just thinking, if you're able to even break even on this Vengeful Spirit in the mid lane, Carl's going to have done a very, very good job.
And what do you think the item build probably is for the Venge mid? Is it still probably, I guess the Night Stalker isn't really a position 3 who's going to go for a bunch of aura, so is that just the role that the Venge takes over?
Could very well be. Like, he could just go into something like a Solar Crest after a few stats just to give himself a good amount of armor. I mean, that's where the majority of the damage, you would think, is going to be coming through from Motivate's end. So yeah, I think that should be pretty safe for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued to see. What has Thompson been? You said you've seen him play the Venge a couple times. Do you remember some of his builds that he's been going?
I mean, I've even seen him build crazy things like an Ags before, just for the fear to change things around. There's really nothing you could predict with Thompson.
Yeah, that's true. Good old Thompson Dota. Like, let's, everyone, this dude just picks anything he wants and will itemize anything he wants. But you can't really doubt the 2 times. So we'll see how Carl is going to be able to step in the shoes of the Venge mid at the moment. But it looks like it's just going to be the classical 2-2 split with the bounty runes. A lot of tips coming out early on.
To the traitor Jackie.
Jesus, that's... Woo. I mean, these, you got to keep in mind as well, a lot of these players, playing a lot of games together in the pubs, the pre-game chat, they're all kind of friendly, talking around a little bit. These are players that have a lot of respect for each other, and battling it up in our game 1 here. So we'll see how this is going to end up faring. They're actually going to put Savage mid on the Morphling, so it's going to be a safe lane Conquer played from Fearless. They're going to start with a tri lane at top at the moment here from Motivate.
Okay, yeah, change things up a little bit, just Conquer on his own. And I can see why, right? I was having an interview with Fearless quite recently, and he was mentioning to me that the thing that tilts the most in the game is Jackie if he has a very poor start. So I can think that this is probably why. You can see Q, he's making sure to block this small camp here, he's pulled it through, doing a good job over there, and yeah, it's just about getting that level 2 ASAP.
So we are going to see Boombell actually TP back down the bot. So looks like, I guess, just trying to set up, maybe find a first blood potentially if the Drow oversteps the mark there, but they're going to be able to try and secure their early CS. We're even going to see a little bit of chip damage onto Whiteman up top. Nevermind, he's already got that level 2 thanks to killing the Hearts camp, so Just the poison attack really coming out. I mean, look at the Undying. There's a lot of harassment that the Viper's going to dish out early.
Wisely going for the Ring of Protection as well, making sure that he is able to sustain that little bit more. You just need to be that tanky frontliner that's going to be able to stop all of this never-ending aggression that's coming through from the Viper lineup.
Meanwhile, mid lane though, it looks like Carl's having a pretty good time. I mean, 5 and 4 compared to the 4 and 2. Yes, Morphling early on. You know, once you get more points in the attribute shift, your damage is going to continue to skyrocket. But I feel like there's going to be a lane where 23 Savage should have a pretty good time. Like the Venge feels like doesn't really offer any kill threat, without having like a big nuke or like an easy. You got a stun, but even then, it looks like he's putting more points in the Vengeance aura. So Savage, once he gets his level, should have a pretty good time here.
Yeah, Carl just wants the harass, right? He just wants to be able to stand and brawl right now, and that's what the stats are extra good for. 7 bonus attribute. It's not just the Morphling that can get that, but now that he's level 3, he's going to have a lot more flexibility to play with on Savage.
Even go through all the lanes here. We'll take a look at bot with that first daytime at the moment, how much Cuckoo is able to get out of the lane, and we see he's having a pretty good time at the moment. You know, second in the last hits. Once that nighttime really hits, we're going to see this kind of Snapfire Night Stalker really start to pop off and really put the pressure on the map with what we were hoping to see from this Night Stalker.
Yeah. Taken a couple of learnings from the European region as well, with the 3-3 style of build, getting an Urn of Shadows before the 3-minute mark, just straight up rushing that on Cuckoo. So it's kind of putting a lot of your eggs into the one basket of, look, we need to rotate and make sure that we can get these early kills, but you know, that's what they've drafted around, so I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, I mean, they should definitely be able to get the kills as well. If the Enchantress oversteps the mark, they're going to have so much damage to be able to bring down Boombo, and then being able to get Earn Charge after Earn Charge to the top lane. He's in trouble here with the toss back. Never mind, going to be able to find first blood. They might turn to the Undying with the poison attack starting to stack up here for Whitemon. Pathing a little bit awkward there for the Viper, but still, unfortunately, having to cut through the tree. Looks like Whitemon. He's still got the Soul Rip, actually. It's not going to be too much heal, though. Q continuing to chase under the tower. We'll be able to find a second kill for Motivate throughout the laning stage. Very nicely done from them.
And the tip immediately coming out from Fearless. You know, I told you, man. I told you. He's like, the way to win games against us when he was playing for him is just to tilt Jackie. And that is just, from the very beginning, that's the strat.
Yeah, how was the interview with Fearless? Was big kind of any talking points about that with the player individually?
I mean, the thing for them is he's very happy because yes, they've been playing through a bunch of rosters, a bunch of organizations with this exact same roster since like 2017. You know, this was the Alpha Red roster that actually came down to Australia for Convictus.
That's right.
Most of them. So they were just very happy that the players get an opportunity. But of course, there's that little part of them themselves that are also like, man, we had a good thing going, you know. You said that they were champions of BTS Pro Series 3. They also 3-0'd Among Us in the Summit 13. So, like, they were getting some really solid results coming through.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't really get to see this roster play on some of the main stages, but yeah, we'll still see Motivate how they're able to fare with this new roster at the moment. We're about to have the nighttime come through, although Cuckoo, they get very aggressive under the tower. And now, even with the Enchantress coming over, there's going to be a lot of damage. Zeph is going to try and give him the distance. They'll actually turn instead on the Enchantress. With that level 2 and the Scatter Blast, it's an immense amount of damage here for the Snapfire. So Cuckoo keeps his life, gets some Earn Charges as well, so he's going to have a little bit more sustain to keep himself in the lane. Even see how this mid lane's continuing to fare as well. I mean, the Venge is just destroying 23 Savage at the moment in the CS. 25 and 15 compared to the 15 and 3. So the Morphling struggling a bit early on to be able to find that CS against the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, but I think that's fine, right? Because Venge kind of drops off a cliff later on.
Ooh, he's alright. No. So they might turn now.
Yeah.
He's got 2 points up on the Void. They even get the stun here. Conker gonna try and play around with the Torrent. Cuckoo's still gonna be pretty careful as well with this Impetus. Boombolt does a lot of damage now with the TP rotation from Q as well. He wants to try and get on top of Zephyr. The Cookie on cooldown and that immense damage from the Tidebringer. Zephyr will end up falling. So 3 kills, a nice rotation from Q. It does now leave Nevermind solo, but he's already level 5 and not really getting pressured much. I mean, you can handle the Undying now with 3 points in the poison attack.
Yeah, and I don't think he minds too much. The thing is, he's gone the Urn of Shadows, so you would think that he's going to want to try and get a few rotations coming up here soon, get a few charges
Dire's
into that.
bottom tower is
And
under attack.
yeah, it's not going to happen while they're trying to deal with this Cuckoo threat right now. It's just the style that Southeast Asia has, right?
Hot
Oh,
and
what, it's
wild.
nighttime and Night Stalker's as strong as possible? Well, we know he's going to try and make something happen to us, so let's just get ballsy and try and kill him.
Yeah, and they're trying to continue putting some pressure on as well. They've got this catapult wave and just the potential of being able to shove in the lane with the Tidebringer, and the Enchantress can make it very easy to push down towers with that enchant as well. So they're doing a very good job of kind of toggling the aggro from the tier 1 and making sure that catapult doesn't die. They still have the glyph as well if they really want to use it here, but look at the amount of damage they already put on, and exactly like you said with this nighttime, they don't give a damn. Cuckoo just getting chased down, but the avalanche toss sets up for the turret, and the Night Stalker will end up falling. Boombell is going to be able to claim that kill there.
Just take it straight to him. I mean, that's one of the advantages that Motivate have really had throughout these whole online tournament stage, is that they've just got to play so much more together, and against the higher caliber of teams as well. So, oh, they're going to kill Zephyr as well. This bottom lane going fantastically for them right now.
Yeah, Fearless just picked up that level 6, and Zephyr unfortunately wasn't really able to do much with the cookie against the X, and that secures the T1 tower. That's a very early objective getting claimed, and in the safe lane as well, we don't really see many teams being able to take the enemy's offlane tower. So very nicely played from Motivate.
And the thing is as well, now you can see all of them just straight up leave the lane, because if the lane is pushed up this far, you don't want multiple creep waves getting lost.
Could be in trouble. It's an immense amount of damage with the Soul Roof for the Vipers trying to man fight here. Jackie might end up falling to the poison. Q's even coming over as well if you can predict the avalanche. Is the damage enough? It is. Such a good start for the Tiny. Q has been involved in every kill so far through Motivate, and this is going to be massive for them. If you can get a good timing on the blink, that's going to be a lot of their initiation, and to be able to catch this Drow range on the backline, you know, catch the Venge, pretty squishy as well. So a great start here from the Tiny.
A little bit of a misplay as well. They had the Observer Ward down, so they should have been able to see him coming through.
Oh, yeah. I see cut through the... I still would have seen on that tower rotation. I mean, they're going to see them back up top once again, so... You know, if they can really put some pressure on the Drow Ranger, still yet to be level 6, so just trying to really force the Drow to go to the jungle a little bit earlier than wanting here. See, ulti picked up now.
Like I was saying before, this is exactly what Motivate want. The wave, a double wave actually, was pushed under the tier 2 bot tower, so Cuckoo has to stay here, and he can't take full advantage of that first nighttime. Like, they've killed the lane multiple times, they've taken the tower, now they can just get out and make sure that they're winning the other lanes.
Yeah, and now you got a support who's just able to play the dead lane. Like, Enchantress is able to do it incredibly well. No one wants to take the farm, so, you know, why doesn't the position 5, who doesn't really mind dying if you're getting some free experience and gold that no one else really wants to, and it's just kind of relieving some pressure on the tower, and is exactly like you said, it just opens up the map. We see Fearless up top, we saw Q up top as well, just, you know, trying to make the movements, and they got the kill with the Drow, and now it looks like they're looking to try and start to maybe think about putting some pressure on the T1 tower, especially with that second catapult coming up pretty soon.
And they've even sniped that Observer Ward that should have spotted them out before. So Q's getting a healthy amount of gold for himself. Only 9 minutes in, and he's got a fair few items, and they're just going in onto Whitemon.
He's gone a little bit early before the rest of the team had come. Looks like he was thinking maybe he'd be able to survive a little bit longer, but now here comes the reinforcements as Q will end up falling down to the eastern side here. Cuckoo trying to find an extra target with the Dark Ascension, but it looks like Boombell already back towards the T1 tower. It does kind of free up mid, where we see Fearless starting to put a little bit work onto the mid tier 1.
This is probably going to be a kill onto the Venge as well. You got Savage rotating in.
Some TP rotations. Zephyr can get in range, so actually might try and turn though, but you got to keep in mind this is a Conquer with the run buff, so he's pretty tanky at the moment with the swap back. Fearless, he's in trouble. Pop the Fairy Fire, but the damage is enough. K, another swap here, and meanwhile Savage has been able to just right click against Zephyr, gets that replica. Q's even got to come over as well with a beautiful Ava toss combination, but now with the Drow on the high ground chucking out the volleys. Jackie, that's enough damage applying the Enchantress, but do they have any more follow-up here? As Radiant, they bring all the numbers as Viper's going to show up, drops out that Nether Toxin, slows up Cuckoo in the river, so the Night Stalker will not be able to escape. A very big fight in the mid lane right before the bounties as well, so it looks like it's going to be able to secure and motivate both the bounties up top, and we'll see if Savage is going to be able to contest the ones down bot as well.
I thought that was honestly the perfect attempt coming through from Motivate because they just had multiple TPs come up to that top side. Cuckoo had just used the Dark Ascension and it had just moved to daytime, so there was no way that Nightstalker was going to have a huge impact. But good turnaround. Lucky enough, the Undying didn't use his TP previously, was able to come through and save the Vengeful Spirit and defend that tier 1 tower, although it's still being siege right now with that second siege creep coming through.
And I mean, you take a look, Die, they don't have really the greatest way to shove out the lanes. I mean, Undying, not really great in particular. No AoE, the Venge, the Night Stalker. It's really just the Snapfire with levels. So Radiant really able to kind of push down objectives with the Catapult and not really worry about you losing creep. So, and once again, they're doing a very good job with the Enchantress Keep, just tanking up the tier 1 to keep that Catapult alive. And this is going to be now a lot of map control going in the way of Motivate.
And even as before, like you could see, they could tell everyone is just grouped around the middle tower. So Q's just getting some free farm. He's pulling this creep wave in. He's going to probably farm it up himself or give it over to someone else. But he's getting pretty damn close to that blink dagger for him. So why not just take it?
Yeah, which is going to be so scary once you get this. I mean, I guess you do have... The Venge is going to have some swap potential, but the burst is going to be... there's going to be a stage where the Tiny, as soon as you have that blink, your damage is going to be through the roof. He had the Tome as well. Q's almost got both the Avalanche Toss maxed out, where it's just your damage is through the roof at that point.
I think he opted to go 1 point into the tree throw to try and catch Carl as he was running away, but... I think a Soul Rip saved him, but this is a big moment. Are they going to be able to scout out that this Ancient stack is being taken along with the Tombstone? They just want it to be a foregone conclusion that this is money being funneled into Jackie.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like with committing the Tombstone, it kind of reveals, I mean, Radiant don't have vision of this, but it kind of shows that the side of T1 maybe don't feel too content with taking a fight. I mean, they do have Dark Ascension. They've also got the Mortimer Kisses, though, and... Savage is kind of playing up top at the moment. Looks like they're going to try and smoke up and link to the lanes that's getting pushed out, but...
smoke. They're going to go underneath this Observer Ward as well, so immediately spots him.
Boombo, Cookie, gets out of range, but he's going to run into Cuckoo, so he's just going to eat the smoke gank, and meanwhile Motivate... Well, everyone's going to be able to dip out safely, and he's just going to try and waste as much time as possible. Man, this is taking them a little bit longer than they were hoping. Carl's even going to just use the swap to at least land the stun. So, I mean, Ven just got a killing spree at the moment, but you take a look what's happening across the map. Like, all of Radiant are farming. Q's getting closer towards a blink, so this, I mean, now he's got it. So they dodge the gank on Savage. Tiny, meanwhile, farms his blink. Nevermind has this Atos. Like, they have some incredible timings coming through now for Motivate.
And it, like you said, it was just so much time wasted by the Enchantress. Boombell, he's the captain, he's the level head, and he would have been like, guys, it's fine, I'm dying. They're so stupid, they're just attacking me this entire time. So you just need that steadying voice in your team a lot of the time, and he's great at that.
It looks like Radiant now, they're going to smoke up. With the blink ready, they want to try and reveal it, but they don't get the vision, it looks like, on Jackie. I mean, he was pretty close towards the tier 2 tower regardless, but now top lane, Savage as well.
Oh, they
They're
found
actually
him.
going to end up diving. Q with the toss back, nicely comboed up here, and now with the boat coming through, Swap's going to give the space for Jackie. Carl looks like he's going to be okay as well. With the blink getting revealed for Motivate, unfortunately, they don't get a pick off out of it. And they do have this 2,000 net worth lead 14 minutes of the game, but you take a look at least from the top of the graph of the net worth, it's actually Jackie there at the moment on the Drow Ranger, and then it's also Carl on the Vengeful Spirit. So both these two heroes have been getting a lot of farm across the map and doing very well in this game one.
Speaking of Jackie, is the Drow bald for you on your end?
Yeah, well, no, she's got her picture's bald, but no, she got a hat. She's chilling.
She's bald in her picture, though.
Is this one of
Molded?
these?
Not yet.
No, maybe not just yet. Soon she might be molded. We'll see. Yeah, Jackie's able to play right now. I mean, you got the good old Venge Drow combo. It's been a pretty classic throughout the patch at the moment.
Tales old as time. They're picking out the Night Stalker, but it's a couple of seconds away from changing into nighttime, so very risky if they were to opt for that.
Wow, Cuckoo's he's going the Aghanims, which we don't really see the position 3 Night Stalkers going for the Aghanims. There's a lot more of a greedy sort of build, but does he... What do you think the reason is for him going the Aghs this game?
I think it's fine. Like, again, if he's going to be that beefy frontliner that's taking all of the attention away from him, from the rest of the team, sorry, you kind of have to focus him down. And while that's happening, you've got the Drow peppering away, you've got the Mortimer's Kisses that might be raining through. So I don't mind it. The downside of it, like you said, it being greedy, is that the build-up sucks, right? It just does nothing until you've actually completed it. So we'll see. He's bought the Ogre Axe first rather than the point booster, which is fine. If he did want to change into the BKB, he still can. But we will see. They're going to be forced to respond to this top lane, and they will with multiple heroes.
Radiant, they got a nice observer ward in the jungle as well, so they're going to see Cuckoo wrapping over. Looks like Boombell is just going to sacrifice his life once again to the rotations up towards the top side. And you see instantly Radiant want to try and deal with some other lanes. Savage going to TP down. But again with the Night Stalker though, you really want to try and get these Aghanims by this timing of like 17:30, 18 in, so you can really utilize it with that second night time. But Cuckoo's just going to be a little bit too late here, and I'm worried even with the Ags, like you not having a BKB now against the Tiny, the Conquer, the Viper, you're just going to completely get controlled through these fights. So he's really going to have to play the Dark Ascension pretty flawlessly with how you can position with this unobstructed movement.
Yeah, I mean, against the Viper, it's not a huge difference. Yes, you can avoid the Poison attack, but the Viper Strike is still obviously going to go through that, so the slow impacting you is still very much real. But, you know, if they're able to do what they have in the past 5 minutes or so and just create a ton of space to allow this farm to happen, then it's not the worst thing that could possibly happen. Smoke coming through again. Cuckoo, perfect positioning. He's just calling out where this is going to happen. They found him out a little bit, but no, they're not wanting to dive all the way too deep.
And it's a nice earn instantly on Q as well, just so he can't blink follow up the cookie from Whitemon, but it's a lot of damage. Man, Jackie on the back. We're kind of seeing this Drow just, you know, continuously be farming around the triangle. It feels like the past couple of minutes we saw T1, they tried to smoke kill top for where the Savage Morphling was. That got kind of tanked by the Enchantress, and then as soon as the Enchantress died, Radiant, they regrouped and tried to smoke to the triangle. And that's been, I think, twice now that's just happened, where Radiant just literally made that same play. And T1 are just reading them. You know, they've got this ward on the higher ground, Cuckoo in a very defensive position, just being able to pop it where you've got some vision, and then just really protecting that triangle where they know that the Drow Ranger wants to be positioning and finding the Ancient farm. And now they're thinking about kind of posturing around Roche. I mean, they've got the Vlads, they've got not really any minus armor at the moment, but it's just the fact that they're going to be able to take objectives really fast when they want to.
Yeah. I mean, they've got the Wave of Terror, that's a little bit.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Nah, that's fine. It's not that much. I heard who they found out, it's Cuckoo.
Cuckoo could be in trouble here. They've got the combo, they're going to be able to drag him back. The Soul will be a little bit of heal, but it looks like now Q's going to try and follow up for more with the Night Stalker. Already down, Geek Fam. Sorry, T1, they're going to try and retreat away. I miss the days of when the stand-in tags were there. You know, when makes it all... Yeah, it's like now everyone's just got like three team tags in one team. A little confusing sometimes. But see, I mean, Motivate with that pick off, they're just gonna try and walk into Roche. They do have some vision down. They're well aware of this, but it looks like Motivate, they feel incredibly strong at the moment with the toss back. Carl's in trouble. He won't be able to get the swap power, but now with the waveform forward, Morphling wants to try and find Zephyr, but now with the Manta Dodge, going to be able to get out of the silence. Flick it with the Cookie Sun as well. Savage going to be able to lock two in place. Jackie trying to dish out the damage at the moment. They are actually able to bring down the Morphling. Let's see if they can continue on for more, with a beautiful Avatosh from Q, drags them both back on top of the Viper. Jackie nowhere he can run with the X. Conk is going to be able to chase him down. That's 4 dead on T1. And yes, you do lose Savage, but the rest of Motivate kind of clean up.
I think they saw Cuckoo as well, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful. He TP'd out to this tier 2 tower, so he's kind of stuck, at least for the meantime.
And the impact from Tiny this game has just been so incredible. We're seeing
Never mind. He's looking.
He might be able to get him. Yeah, Cuckoo's going. He's in trouble. He doesn't have the ultimate as well. Let's see if the movement speed's enough, but even Carl just TP'd up as well without the rest of the team. Night Stalker's relatively tanky. Cuckoo's still alive. Here comes a rotations now with the swap, but it looks like Nevermind actually in position to find the little bit of damage required to bring down the Night Stalker. Now Whitemon, he's going to come through, but without any Suns. Q once again, man. This Tiny, nicely done. Nevermind's going to be able to get out. Looks like Boombell once again, maybe being this sacrificial. They're actually going to go back forward here with the Undying. They drop the ward just to see if there's any more reinforcements on the back line. But it looks like Savage, he wants a little bit of revenge here from that previous death. Is going to be able to burst down Mr. Whitemon. And that's right before the bounties as well. So now they're going to be able to find both of these up top. And potentially, Roche has already healed back up. So let's see if they want to go back in, however.
I think they can. You know, you just pop the Flesh Golem, you pop the Tombstone. It's daytime now. Dark Ascension, yeah, it's up, but I don't think T1 are in a position to try and contest this. They're going to try. I guess Mortimer's Kisses is up in a couple of seconds.
Cute, beautiful spot though. Is going to be able to scout this out. See how they want to try and take this fight here for Motivate, if they're going to stay in the pit or not. Now, looks like they're going to dip out. But just with the threat of T1 coming over to be able to contest that. And we still see a couple of the neutral items though. It looks like the Night Stalker just found that last one for Daesh, so the Grow Bow for the Drow is going to feel pretty nice unless she wants to keep the Ring of Aquila. Even see the good old Essence Ring as well, which is going to be nice either for the the Morph, even the Viper too.
Wonder why they didn't drop a sentry out in front of Roche. Like this Observer and Sentry Ward has just scouted out absolutely everything, and it's not like they're lacking. You got 3 on Boombell right now, but they're just going to make the movement forward. Didn't get caught out, and Whitemon's down again.
Just an easy little pick-off should be able to secure Roche Undying without the buyback. If they wanted to contest it, looks like they're still going to come in with Carl here, so they're thinking about trying to attempt the stall on Roche, but unfortunately this is already going to end up falling. Savage doing so much damage on the Morphling, although see if they can get there fast enough. They're just going to get claimed for the Morphling. Now Cuckoo just giving them the vision.
Ooh,
Radiant.
This is horrible for T1, popping that. It's a huge cooldown being popped, 2 minutes on cooldown now. Yes, you've got 25 seconds left on it, but you're going to have a solid 100 seconds where you've got Aegis, it's daytime, it's useless basically on Cuckoo up until that point. He has, yeah, so he switched over. He's going to go into the BKB because he's just tired of getting full comboed down.
Yeah, even with how tanky he is with the stats and his strength game, it still just feels like the combo and not really much is able to do without the BKB. So it needs the recipe, it looks like, until he's able to pick that one up. But we take a look. What's Savage going for? So just going with the Skadi is the next item after the Manta. And never mind, he's even going for the Aghanims as well. So just a lot of control with the Viper Strike.
I think that's fine, going pure stats, right? Like you have nothing that's going to be dealing percentage-based damage to this Morphling, at least until a Spirit Vessel's picked up by Night Stalker, but they're not really in a position where he's able to go into that, and it's not going to have a lot of charges regardless.
Yeah, it won't. I guess you've also kind of got that Manta to be able to deal with as well. He's more than likely going to hold the Manta for the Drow Stance, being able to kind of disjoint that magic missile as well. But there's really not much that the Morphling has to worry about this game. We've spoken about it's one of Savage's best heroes, and kind of giving him a relatively easy game. I don't want to say free game, but a relatively easy game for the Morphling. We'll see how he's going to be able to transition into the late game, but he's now being able to finally take over the top of the net worth, and looks like Motivate with this Aegis are looking to try and start taking some more objectives with this tier 2 first to fall up top.
Yep, they're just taking it slow and steady. No need to rush anything. They know they've still got a solid minute or so where this Night Stalker is going to be a non-factor.
Mid actually, Fearless gets the combo. Nevermind, is going to be able to follow up with the Atos, but looks like Zephyr's going to be alright. Unfortunately, do lose the Courier. Meanwhile, top as well. Cuckoo just trying to solo defend against Savage. He's just pushing with some reinforcements. Q's going to try and blink forward, but doesn't find the opening. Now the Tiny could be in trouble. Savage tries to give him a little bit of space with the Avalanche. So they want to reset though with Cuckoo. Showing a little bit too far forward. It's going to get the X drag back. Cookie. Not enough distance here. So Cuckoo's going to end up paying the price. I mean, he does have a buyback available. They're going to drop the Tombstone in the back. But now with a little shredder thanks to the Replicate, Savage going to try and deal with this. Even the waveform forward. Remember, he's got the Age to be able to protect him as well. But can they get in control to enable him? Manta gets out of the silence. And Mine's going to force that forward as well for the Atos. But the Drow Ranger not really under any threat at the moment. Now Radiant, have they dived too far? Phil is going to tempt the BKB TP out, but he won't be successful as Jackie has the physical damage to go through. And now Savage is going to be careful as well. He's got a little bit of mana with the one. So close with that Terror as well. Q gets a toss back thanks to the creep wave. And it looks like Radiant, they might just be out of there. But, I mean, that's a pretty good high ground defense there from T1. I mean, they do lose the tier 3 tower. The QQ falls at the start, but you get 3 heroes from Motivate. And also that's kind of a BKB charge for the Conquer. That's down to 8 seconds. That doesn't really give him anything.
And more importantly, more money funneled into the rest of the T1 team. He's only, what is that, about 1,000 gold now away from BKB on Jackie. So that's going to enable him to be much more survivable. But, you know what I was saying before about you don't need to push the advantage? Well, they did, and being punished for it.
Yeah, going to opt to go high ground without taking all these outer towers, or I guess they did get the pick off on Cuckoo, but maybe just overstaying their welcome a little bit too much as We're still going to see him. And it's not nighttime just yet. And Cuckoo's still without the BKB. So it looks like Motivate. They've got the Aegis and the double damage rune in the bottle here for Savage. So it's like kind of posturing relatively aggressive, seeing if maybe they can bait Savage.
I don't know. If it was me, I would be like, look, Savage is so close to finishing up his Skadi. Let's just get that and then try and make something happen. You'll still have a little bit of time left on your Aegis. You've got the bounty runes coming up. Yes, it's going to be nighttime, but we've seen that they haven't had too much difficulty in dealing with that. Although he's probably going to have his BKB now with these bounties being picked up. Yeah, immediately rushing it out to him.
There's a Halberd now picked up on Fearless as well. So yeah, Radiant, they're getting well, a couple of items coming through. We even see the BKB now finished on Jackie. So this is going to be a big timing for either team as Radiant. They still have the Aegis for a minute 10. So let's see if T1 actually mid lane swap back into the cookie, but Quick Finger's going to be able to get the attribute shift. He's still in trouble though. He's going to lose the first life. Radiant, they're beelining it to mid. Can they kill him a second time though? He's already popped his meds, and now with silence as well, it's unable to get the attribute shift. Dr. Q, he can't do anything. He actually blinks on top of the silence here, and now won't be able to use the Scepter to swap back. Fearless gets the Halberd, still getting control with the body blocks. Perfectly done. Oh, this Venge just styling on Fearless. It's a double for Jackie. They find 3 on Motivate, and Cuckoo, he wants more blood here. He's trying to find Boombell. He's protected with the Glimmer, and it looks like he's going to be alright. But Dire, what an incredible fight. They get that first life on the Morphling, and now they're just going to be able to siege these objectives down. Tier 1's already fallen. Tier 2's going to drop as well.
Yeah, and Enchantress not the best at defending against that solo anyway, you know, going towards the top, trying to get something in return for it, but yeah, you've got a siege creep, you've got a drow. There's not too much that they can do to contest this.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Top, both teams looks like they're going to glyph up here. So Dire, incredibly done. I mean, now dropped this net worth lead down to 1,000 for Motivate, and they've got a pretty big swing coming through for the graphs as well. So T1 just with kind of the timing. They got some of their items, the nighttime hitting, and they really looked to pressure with that. And now it seems like they've kind of got a little bit of momentum on their side.
Immediate smoke coming through from Motivate. They're like, look, they popped everything to try and make that happen. No Flesh Golem, no Mortimer's Kisses, although you've got the Gobble up now on Zephyr, which just enables, you know, we were talking about before, they were lacking a little bit of teamfight burst, teamfight initiation. Now they've got it. You know, if you're able to get Cuckoo in on the front lines before he gets the Viper Strike onto him, that's a big deal. Oh, they found him though.
Pops the BKB, but the damage from Savage is too much. He even attempts the TP, but just the positioning there with the Sentry. Which runs kind of very nicely done.
They just dropped it too.
Under attack.
I think they saw him with the ward sentry combo up to the northern side, so they saw him coming through and drop that sentry at the perfect timing. Yeah, so just the combo of the ward and sentry allows them to get a pick off the tier 2 tower, and now bot's kind of shoved in as well if they want to think about finding another tier 2. I mean, Cuckoo's going to be up in about 20 seconds here, and he's going to have the Dark Ascension. He won't have the BKB available though.
I think they're fine for now with just taking away this Tricamp area. Might even body block the next Ancient Spawn, just so that they're reducing the amount of farm that TY can get. Getting a little bit unlucky with these neutral item drops though. It's just hit the 27-minute mark and none of those Ancient creeps dropped anything.
It would have been nice, especially if a fight was about to break out here for Motivate, but looks like Dire maybe just trying to get a little bit of control and potentially de-ward this top jungle at the moment, as they don't really have any control through bot, and you just see Radiant, the last tier 2 tower is going to fall. They do drop a ward on the high ground though from White Mon, so it's going to give them a lot of information. Unfortunately, there's already Sentry here, so I'm going to try and posture, put the Viper in the front, the Conqueror as well, just in case they want to jump and use that ward. But there we go with the Gobble up. Cuckoo's in. He finds a stun. Fearless going to be able to pop the BKB. Where's Carl for the control? He's got the haste if he wants to swap him back. Now Fearless's BKB is about to expire, so you got to be careful. He drops the boat. It's going to give him a nice little buff up, and now with the Force Staff as well. But he's in trouble here. They continue and chase him down with the Mortimer Kiss as well. Do they have a way to get rid of it? It looks like they don't. Everyone else has just retreated away, so Fearless, unfortunately, will be the sacrifice here.
Nicely done. They do have a timing now though. Kunkka's going to come back alive in about a minute or so. That's going to be daytime. Not going to have Dark Ascension up for about 40 seconds. So I think that's probably what Motivate are going to want to try and exploit as much as possible. But some really nice swaps coming through there from Carl to make sure that there was no getting away for Fearless, even if he was to pop that BKB.
Yeah, you see how aggressive Carl is playing with this Venge. I mean, he's about to have the BKB picked up, and I guess the haste kind of enabled him in that fight, so he could run a lot more into the middle and be able to disengage after like this aggressive swap. But they really want to try and protect the outposts as the 30-minute mark's about to come through with the toss forward. Boom Bell is going to get stunned up. Then we'll give him a little bit of protection with the force stuff as well. Let's see if they want to continue forward. Q with the counter initiation though. He gets a blink toss combination. Undying's going to end up falling now with the BKB. They want to try and look to turn though. They still got a little bit of nighttime. Instantly straight on top of the Morphling with the Silence. He doesn't have a way to get out of the AoE. Now Nevermind's going to get swapped back as well. They're doing such an incredible job at just allowing this Drow range to just freely siege on the backline, and there's just nothing Motivate can do about it.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of having the Venge in the mid lane, right? Normally you swap him in, you basically resign yourself to dying, and you go the full aura build just to make sure that your remaining illusion from the Vengeance aura is still doing something for you. But he's got a BKB, he's got a full Hurricane Pike, he's got stats galore and the Vladimir's offering, so he's able to just walk on back out of these team fights.
Radiant are
You
scanning.
see just the, I mean, that's third death here now for the Morphling, and it looks like he's kind of umming and ahhing on what he wants to go for. He's got the Ogre Axe already picked up, but you know, the E-Blade is in that quick buy. Probably more than likely is going to end up trying to finish the BKB though. It's just T1 have been able to do a pretty good job of kind of shutting down this Savage Morphling so far.
I think for now he's going to keep using the Orb of Destruction. Maybe once he hits level 20, he'll swap that Paladin Sword in. Once he gets the Waveform Attacks Targets talent, just so that he's able to really bolster up his HP pool again in the middle of a team fight. But T1, they've been coordinating so well that they just haven't given him any chances to use anything.
And I love how they're positioning now as well from Dire. They know that this next age is going to be the next objective from either team, as Q's going to blink forward, but Cuckoo, incredibly tanky here, as they're going to drop the Tombstone on the higher ground. Motivate, can they deal with this straight away? But now with the toss back, Fearless pops the BKB, they deal with the Tombstone, but looks like can they continue forward for more? Cole finds a stun, they get a little bit of space, but now with Gobble up off to the side, paired up with the Mortimer Kisses inside the choke point, Enchantress going to end up falling, and now Tiny's in trouble as well with Blink, unable to get out after the Yules. It looks like there's going to be 2 down from Motivate, and that's right before Roshan as well. I love what T1 do. They know this next objective is going to be the second Roche, so they control the triangle cam, which is such a power play here for that for the Roche control. They just have the higher ground, they got the vision, and they find the targets to start.
They just want to take out this tier 2 tower. They don't want any easy way for them to get back to join the team fight when this Roche is being attempted. So just slowing them down for that extra 5-10 seconds is a huge deal. And T1 seems like they've got some pretty good guidance coming through from Cuckoo here.
Yeah, the captaining is starting to shine as we see T1. They've been able to take the network fleet. They've got the second Aegis as well. Cheesy's on Carl. Jackie's going to be the one to pick up the Aegis, and now they're looking incredibly comfortable. You got to keep in mind as well that Whitemon, he's even got the cheeky old telescope, so just more attack range from this Drow Ranger.
It's not fair, honestly. Just all of that attack range is just ridiculous. You're attacking across the screen.
Yeah, and the volleys are miles away. Like, you can sit from yonks and not feel contested at all. And we brought up earlier that, I mean, they only have a blink on the Tiny, so actually being able to get on top of Jackie is very difficult, and with the BKB as well. So kind of the Conquer doesn't really provide any control, and the Viper ATOS doesn't really either, and especially because Dire, they've got the I mean, Snapfire with the cookie or the gobble up even, I guess, for the positioning. You've even got Avenge as well, more using the swaps aggressively, but you've just got so much now potential for T1 to really keep Jackie alive in these fights, and we're seeing what the Drow can do.
It's even just the little plays, right? Like Zephyr's here in the Dire jungle farming a neutral camp, and he just gobbles one of them up, tosses him onto Q, so he shits himself and starts to run away.
Just the good old mind games.
You always want a little bit of fear in their mind, you know?
Yeah, I gotta make sure that he doesn't feel comfortable with trying to farm this aggressive that he is at the moment. You know, maybe think otherwise, that he can't get this free wave. Maybe next time, instead of that gobble up being just a toy, that'll actually be maybe the Night Stalker flying through the air, and it's just the demise of the Tiny.
Fearless done a pretty good job, though, on this bottom lane, making sure the wave's pushed all the way into the tower, giving a lot of information through to his team. And I think he's just tired of dying all the time, to be honest. He's got the 18 extra strength from hitting level 20. What's next for him? AC. Well, he might not have time to get it before someone gets picked off here.
Never mind. In trouble. They got the vision thanks to the Night Stalker. Now to swap back Carl. They're going to try and TP in, but Boombell's just by his lonesome self. Like, I mean, now the rest of Radiant, I mean...
They're staying out here. They're finally coming back.
So they're already going to end up losing their tower, and they also don't have any glyph as well. So these objectives just getting shredded thanks to the Drow and the Venge. And I mean, it's just going to be a set of racks, it looks like, without any defense. I mean, the Viper does have a buyback now with the toss back. Cuckoo pops the BKB, is going to try and turn with the silence. Beautifully done, controlling up two, and now the Tiny might be in trouble here. He's going to be able to get the swap away. Nicely done from Carl through that yours. Now they might just try and end it. See if they can get some buybacks coming out. So they've got this Tombstone in a very great spot that Radiant can't really do anything about. So now Carl...
Savage is still ratting
though. The BKB. Savage does get the full set of racks here up at top. He's now going to be able to come back to join the rest of the team, but it costs him 2 buybacks on the Tiny and the Viper. And let's see if Dire want to reset. I mean, they do have to deal with top and bot, but they've got a very nice ward inside the mid base here if they can jump. Oh, Boomba might just
multi-shot.
Oh my...
Look at that. How is that balanced?
Drow Dodo.
Sustains good.
Well, that's in the end. I mean, I guess Radiant, they do buyback 2 heroes, but objective-wise, you see the trade in the full set of racks top and mid. So, and T1, I mean, they still have their ages though for also a minute 30. So let's see what they can do.
And now we finally got that Ags up on the Night Stalker as well. So Cuckoo, he's got all those extra stats as well as just, you know, burst damage coming through. He's got the Void Talent. He's got the right-click damage as well, just from hitting level 20. And he's going to be buffed up together with this Vengeance Aura, as well as the Vlad's Offering. So he is something that they need to deal with as well. It's not everything onto this Drow. I mean, I guess that's the thing, right? Every single one of these heroes on T1's side is capable of doing a huge amount of damage. Like, Venge is basically all single target, but other than that, it's just damage galore.
I mean, Venge has a goddamn butterfly now. So we just see, like, this hero is just been dishing out so much damage, and, you know, with the butter now picked up, you got a little bit of evasion. We'll see how you're able to play with that one. But it looks like T1, they're just going to try and at least even out top. They'll shove it in, got the ages for another 40 seconds. You know, Radiant are doing a very good job to keep the other lanes pushed in, though. You see Morphling dealing with mid. Q's going to try and keep that bottom lane shoved in, so at least gives them some options for Savage to be able to rat, which we saw last time, and how incredibly fast he can push.
Even Fearless is here. Yeah, you can see they're kind of splintering off a little bit on T1's side. You know, what do we do? Do we need to defend? Well, both lanes are being pushed in, but we can take top. It's fine. There's everything going on right now, and there's 15 seconds left on this Aegis. So what's going to happen?
They're going to TP back Savage. They've also got Zephyr on more of a backside angle here, but Savage is just going to BKB TP out. See if they can catch anyone else, though, Carl. With Whitemon underneath their own ward on the high ground. Did Dire want to join them instantly? It does look like the Aegis just ticked out, and they've got some neutral items. They're not really controlling this high ground, though. So Fearless forces out the BKB, the Venge. Gonna have to, unfortunately, use that one, but even Whitemon's hanging around as well. They got a really nice ward kind of around this top River Rune side, so getting a lot of information.
Well, the lanes are somewhat fixed now for T1, though. It's not all just pressing up into their base, which is nice. And they've been able to withstand the Aegis timing. So what is the next thing that they're going to be going for? There's a lot of money right now onto Jackie, nearly 5k, just waiting in his bank. And have a look at the Zephyr as well. Position 4 is gone for the MKB. Why not? Let's transition into another core.
See what Zephyr's going to be able to do if he can find that. But they did actually smoke up underneath that ward that I was speaking about just previously. So Motivate, they've been able to back up. Looks like they're wanting to bait Boombell at the moment. Carl, see if he goes for the swap straight away with the multi-shot. He gets a Ghost Rift up, but it's still going to get bursted down. And now I've got to keep in mind, they forced out some buybacks previously, so Q could be in trouble. And the Force gets him back inside the base, and the Scepter defensively as well. Mortimer-Kiss is down, but still, look at Dire go to work here, and they're not really in a spot to be able to rat. Morphling's going to have to go back to base here, but now all the tier 4s are down. And look at the range they have at the moment. Jack is just freely sieging. They're going to do something about it here, but the boat's going to fly, but doesn't get the connection now with the Tombstone as well. They haven't been able to deal with it, so with this space, Savage finds a replicate with the Goblet, connects onto Jackie, but it doesn't matter. They aren't able to deal with the Drow Ranger. Savage going to try and waveform forward, but now with the swap actually brings him back. Jackie could be in trouble here. He'll get the gobble up once again. Zephyr chucks him out, but Q's going to try and follow up with the BKB protection. Q might have gone a little bit too far now, but all eyes on trying to protect Jackie. But what's the consequence? So it's ready. They're pushed outside the base here. White Mountain slowed up. He's got the Glimmer. They're still continuing to come forward here with the buybacks. They even give the cheese over to the Drow Ranger as well. They're going to try and look to turn, but die. The reinforcements haven't come through just yet. Now with the Silence. No, they found the Morphling. Savage, he doesn't have buyback. He didn't have mana for the Manta as well. They find the Venge, but they can go back for more. Gobble ups in 10 seconds. Jackie, if you get in range for the multi-shot, slow. Boombell protected with the Ghost Scepter. Buybacks galore are coming out. The throne's okay, but the only issue is that Radiant, they don't have Savage. Can they hold it with 3 heroes in T1? They've got everyone back alive here. So back inside the base they go with the throne exposed. Boombell's falling incredibly low. They're going to try and chuck at the bow, but the connection isn't there with any full follow-up. And now Motivate, I mean, this is going to have to be an incredible high ground defense. We're seeing what Fearless can do at the moment with the help of the Enchantress, but Dire still slowly seeing the reinforcements come back to the middle lane here as the Drow just continuing to siege down. With now with the BKB can just turn to deal with the Viper. Never mind 4 stars forward to try and deal with Cuckoo, but just doesn't have the damage. Fearless is in trouble as well. It's going to try and pop the BKB, but the slows coming through from Jackie with this Scardy. The G's are dropped in T1. They're going to be able to take game 1 here of the BTS Pro Series Season 4. Man, what a walk down that mid lane.
Whew. I mean, I can't think of a better way to start off a tournament, right? Very, very entertaining all throughout. Could have gone either way. I mean, that win probability was very much a roller coaster. It felt like Motivate up until the point where, Cuckoo finally had his BKB, was finally able to soak up a lot of this damage, was the key turnaround. But for me, MVPs, it's hard to split either Carl or Zephyr. Both of them making key swaps, key gobble ups, amazing initiations and counter initiations coming through from them, and I think that's what secured it.
Yeah, I was actually so impressed with how this Venge mid was actually able to perform in this game 1. I really wasn't expecting Carl to have a game like he did, but man, just the aggressive plays and with the swaps that they were able to provide, just really finding this it wasn't even, it just felt like Motivate. They really relied on Tiny to initiate, and it just made it so difficult to find the Drow, and they did attempt a couple times at finding Drow farming in that jungle, but T1 just read them like a book for the first 2 smoke ganks and really just continued to allow the Jackie Drow to be able to find the farm. And in the end, I mean, Jackie just kind of pops off with the help of the rest of the team here. It's just a beautiful game from T1 overall.
Yeah, I mean, Cuckoo, yes, he was out of position a few times. Yes, the laning stage didn't go as well as he would have liked, but his positioning, just to be able to predict those smokes, was perfect. He was always right at the top of the cliff at the entry points multiple times. So kudos has to be given for that, as well as the general direction about how to move around the map. I'm sure he was the one leading the charge there, and yeah, taking the victory for game number 1.
Yeah, beautifully done there from T1. And like you said, they're going to be able to take map 1 victory. It is a best of 2. Keep in mind, guys, for all of the group stages. So we're going to see if Motivated are going to be able to tie up the series, or if T1 can sweep this first series. So we're going to go to a short break. We'll be back shortly for game 2.